We're so back. Finally.
It's time. It's
It is time.
finally time.
I feel like it is officially time to lock in, which feels
Oh
good.
yeah.
But yeah, we're back. I now went and got married. Now we're both
Yep.
married, which
We're
is
both
good
married.
stuff.
We
Been
checked two big boxes and now we're full time back.
full time back. And now we can finally focus on what's most important, which is this F1 season.
Yeah, exactly.
But so we left off last with an Imola prediction where I had Oscar Piastri winning because I glazed. George Russell second and Max third. I was off by a margin. It was Max, Lando, Oscar. Grant had, who did you have? You had Oscar, Lando, Kimmy because you're really feeling optimistic, even though Kimmy had not a great race, unlucky. But it was Max, Lando, Oscar. So you got 2 points. It is now officially 11-14. I'm still leading by 3, but we are now approaching. We did no predictions for Monaco or the Spanish Grand Prix. Honestly, Monaco was Monaco. Sadly, nowadays it's kind of just
Yeah, it is what it is.
it is what it is. But I mean, Charles Leclerc podium, which was probably very exciting for you.
Absolutely. I was stoked on that. You can't hate seeing the kid perform at his home race.
Yeah, so that was good. And then Lando Norris won the race. So I
Yep.
mean, that made things interesting. Again, I think constructors going into the Spanish Grand Prix was 3 points between the two McLaren drivers. So that was kind of one of those things that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I thought Oscar was just kind of going to flat out run away with it, but
Yeah.
it kind of heated things up. Um,
Until this weekend, then I'm back to thinking, oh yeah,
yeah,
Oscar's on the
yeah.
fly.
And then like after the interviews, like after quali, it's like Lando's like, well, Oscar's fast, and it's like so weird and like I don't know. I just don't like how that says how he dismisses it, but it's fine. I liked how he handled the George Max situation, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Oh
But
yeah.
Lando had a pretty funny press moment with that. But yeah, Spanish Grand Prix was amazing. It was such an entertaining race, like through and
Yeah.
through the whole time. I was basically locked in. Driver of the day was Max Verstappen somehow, which is the dumb. I think everybody's unanimously agreed that driver of the day is fluked and broken, but it should have been Nico Hulkenberg. But we got Oscar
Yeah.
winning, Lando P2, Leclerc with another podium 2 weeks in a row, P3 this go around, George Russell fourth, Hulkenberg fifth, Lewis Hamilton sixth, Hadjar seventh, Pierre Gasly eighth, Alonso nine, so he's getting back in the points, Verstappen 10, which of course would have been Verstappen fifth, but something occurred. Yeah.
Fourth.
Well, no, because technically he would have finished fifth because he was gonna have to let Russell through, but then that's where the incident happened.
Did you see all the stuff too? Sorry, not to get into this too fast
No,
here,
you're
but
good. We can go right into it.
all of the stuff I saw a bunch of stuff today actually that was saying that the FIA was looking at that situation of how Max got pushed off the track or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He was not going to have to let George through.
So, what do you mean?
So like it was team orders to let George through. And then he gets a 10-second penalty because he let George through and ran into him. But he wasn't even supposed to let George through in the first place. It was just team orders. The FIA wouldn't have made him do that because they said George lost control of his car, causing contact at turn one. When, I mean, if that's the case and Max took the escape road, came out in front of him, he wouldn't have come out or he wouldn't have had to let him back through.
Didn't that happen with Leclerc too and Albon? Where technically Ferrari was like give the position back, and then I'm pretty sure after investigation, nothing came out of it. For which was it? Maybe was it Miami or Saudi Arabia? I think it was Miami
Miami, I think.
or Imola. Yeah. It was Imola because it was fifth Alex Albon, sixth Charles Leclerc, and they were fighting at the end, if you remember. And it was like, oh, I thought Alex was gonna make a run for fourth and get past Leclerc and then go chase down Lewis because Lewis was slowing down. And then they had that point where Alex could not find an opening, hit a dive bomb. Leclerc, quote unquote, pushed him off the track. He went into the gravel quickly, came in, and then I think Lewis went around Albon. And then so it was Lewis, Charles, Albon. And then Charles was told by Ferrari to give the position back, and I'm pretty sure after further review, the FIA was not going to make him do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and I see why teams do it. I see why they're proactive in saying, go ahead and give it back, because the chances of a penalty drop drastically. Like they think they aren't going to get penalized, which is, a valid reason. But at the same time, if I'm them and I have the position, I would almost rather them say, give the position back. Because they do that. They'll say, like swap positions. They don't automatically go, oh, there's a 5-second penalty for you.
But
I mean,
I
it's
guess
hard
that's
to say.
I guess that's what they're banking on. It's like, well, if we let him through now, we're going to potentially avoid a 5-second, 10-second penalty, which will then can the whole situation because of how tight the gap is this year. That's my guess. So it's like avoiding the bigger circumstance. But then we saw like the most vintage Max situation. It was in
20-year-old Max.
I know, like when him and Lewis were fighting. I forget which race. It might have been one of the last races where he had to let Lewis back through, and he literally just like slammed on his brake checked him, and Lewis went right into the back of him. It's like it kind of felt like that a little bit. Then there was an altercation afterwards. It was a whole Drive to Survive is gonna. Everybody keeps saying it. Drive to Survive is gonna have so much fun with that race now.
Oh, dude, they're gonna blow that out of proportion.
Oh my
it's gonna be
gosh.
awesome.
It's going to be great. But yeah, that felt like vintage fired up Max. So that was definitely interesting. I mean, Russell's just hanging out third, fourth all the time now. So I think they're just going to be fighting more and more, which will be super fun.
Yeah.
But another big fight now after this race will be between two teams who, of course, your favorite team's Ferrari. But Ferrari took over second in the constructors, and they're now up by 6 points.
Yep.
Kimi had another DNF, which sucks.
Dude, it sucks because, like, he's not... My opinion, I glaze him, I know. But he's not driving that bad. He's had mechanical failures.
Yeah.
Like the car has not been good, and that's kind of troubling. Like if I'm Mercedes, if I'm Williams, if I'm Alpine, I'm going, is that an engine thing? Like, are we going to get that sorted out? And yes, the engine's way different next year, but it strikes fear. It's like, what's going on with that? Because they are usually bulletproof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is definitely weird seeing a Mercedes going off to the side in smoke. So, definitely unlucky for him because he's been, as we said, he's been a great driver. But this makes things interesting because I guess we were kind of talking about this where I feel like Charles and George are just going to kind of switch a lot. 4th, 5th, 3rd, mix in a podium here and there. Charles obviously has gotten 2nd, but that's going to be a battle. It's going to be fun to watch. And then I truthfully think Kimi and Lewis are going to be the ones fighting at the back. I mean, there's a clip of Lewis after the Spanish Grand Prix sitting in his car crying. Like, he's just not having fun right now. He is going through it. He's struggling with the car, and it sucks because it's just kind of feeling like a you should have retired situation, but now you're stuck in the seat you're stuck in. And let's just hope this isn't like a skid. It's not going to tarnish his legacy if he goes out on Ferrari for 1 year and it's like, all right, it wasn't his best year ever. Regulations may not have suited him. The car wasn't that good
for them next year. Like it's going to be fine. Yeah, the car is not in like the greatest shape ever. Leclerc's just dealt with it for long enough to know what the common denominator is. Lewis is still sitting in this thing going, okay, well, it's twitchy one weekend and the next weekend it's a boat. So what do we do?
Like, and Charles knows how to drive through it, regardless of what it is.
Charles, he doesn't care. He just goes.
Yeah. Well,
it's a fast car, dude. It's fast in the straight line too. Like it can move, and Lewis shows promise with that.
I know
it's just glimpses. It's not consistent at all, and it's frustrating as shit.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense too, because I'm totally with you. Like he's 23 points behind Charles in the constructors battle, but I'm 100% with you because he'll just do a quali lap where you're like, holy, there we go. He's racing vintage. Again. You're like, dude, he's going to be P1. It's Lewis Hamilton. He's so back. And then it's just like he gets in the race and he's just not racing. And it's just like he got passed by Nico Hulkenberg in a Sauber at the end of the race.
Don't even get me going.
At the end of the race, who, shout out, was driver of the day in everybody's eye. That is a relative fan or not. He dragged 10 points out of the Kick Sauber, which is unbelievable.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Dude, and like, again, great overtake for one on Lewis. That was sick. I sleep on Bortoleto. It's the first time he actually drove an actual race car in F1, and he did
P12, not
okay.
bad. Yeah.
He did okay.
I just think he's in a tough situation. We talked about it. I mean, the car he's in really gives him an opportunity. I think Isaac Hadjar is still standing out as the most impressive rookie for me.
Yep.
Who,
While we're on that topic, why don't we say what you were going to say about Hadjar? Then we
oh,
got to get into old bumper car Liam Lawson.
oh my gosh, yes. So yeah, Isaac Hadjar has been the most impressive to me, and also he was just the person I knew the least about, and was like, oh, he's a hothead, so he's probably gonna stink. He's been unbelievable. He's been
awesome.
super consistent, super stable. He's a beast in quali, and like he
Yes.
tends to race not as good as he qualifies, but I mean he puts himself in the right position to still score points because he's quick in qualifying.
He is uber quick. He's a one lap guy, but he can also drag out a race pace.
Yeah.
Like I want to see him like get in a freaking good car.
Well, he's gonna be. I mean, look, if trajectory keeps holding for Red Bull right now on Max, and if Horner potentially makes the jump to Ferrari,
Bro, he said that's all cap.
Oh, really?
He came out and said it's not true, which you can't believe that guy. He's a scumbag.
No, he's the worst, bro. So, but I think Isaac Hadjar, they're probably like sweet driver number one. Boom.
Yep.
Awesome. He's just become the face of the team. Like next year, it's gonna be like Lando Norris when they're just like, "Yep, you're super young, don't care, but you're quick as hell and you're our guy." Boom, done.
Yeah, you can drive, brother. You're in.
So, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. What were you gonna say about Mr. Bumper Cars, your favorite driver of all time?
Oh yeah, Liam Lawson, my favorite driver ever. What a performance! What clean racing!
Oh, it was
Dude,
just.
What was he doing?
It looked like Bob Ross in his prime, truthfully.
It's beautiful. That was wild. Like there was multiple instances. I texted you. I was like, bro, he's out of control. What is he doing?
Bad. He like there was like a period.
Albon out, bro.
Yeah, he took Albon out, which was annoying. But then there's like he was dive bombing Alonso multiple times. Who was he in a fight with? I think he was in a fight with Gasly at one point. And he was like, and he like made contact. He had to have made contact 3 times with people on overtakes, quote unquote. Like it was unreal.
He was the one that was like racing someone and not letting Oscar or somebody through.
Oh no, he didn't let Max through. Max gave him the finger.
Yeah, and called him a special kind of idiot.
Yeah, dude.
But at the same time, that got it. Lando didn't get through either, and it got Max on Lando's tail. So it was almost like, should you have said thank you maybe a little bit? Yeah. I understand it's frustrating, and
dude,
they were having their own race, but I read the room, dog. He
does not care. It's so bad,
dude. He is a crazy. Was he from New Zealand or something?
Yeah, he's New Zealand.
He's a freak, dude.
He's a Kiwi, man. He's nuts. Look. So it's funny because I talked to somebody about this, Zach Podell, if you know him, name drop, but he like likes Liam Lawson. He's like, oh, I'm all like but Zach likes chaos. So he's like, oh, I'm all about it. Bring it.
So he wants to see Liam and Kevin Magnussen on the same team.
Literally, that's what it feels like, right? So
that's crazy.
He wants to bring it, basically, is what he likes. He's like, just keep bringing the chaos. But then at the same time, he's not necessarily a Max fan, and he's a big George Russell fan. So I'm like, it's a little bit confusing to me. But I will say on the topic of like you were saying Max got mad at him. Max, I think the George Russell incident probably wouldn't have happened if if they didn't come out of the yellow the safety car, and he goes, "What tires are on me?" And they go, "Oh yeah, the hard tires that are like the ones that are horrible that nobody's using because they're really bad." And he gets pissed, and then immediately
he got uber pissed,
so mad, and then it goes from that to then obviously the George Russell situation, then the Lawson situation, then the penalty situation, and he's just, dude, he's livid.
Not to mention that I'm a Leclerc guy. Right off the rip on the safety car, when Leclerc passed him, Max drove into him.
Yeah.
Like Leclerc slipstream, get side by side, Max starts squeezing him, Leclerc doesn't move, so he just gives him a little love tap. And then he's saying, Charles drove into me. It was like, what are you talking about?
Dude, vintage. Felt like vintage Max.
He was crashing out.
He was so pissed. It was unbelievable. So that was a little funny to watch because I feel like we got Father Max and everybody keeps making jokes. We're like, oh, he was so chill. We're going to talk about bottom half of constructors now. But one thing that was interesting, Lance Stroll pulling out of the race.
Yeah.
And then
wrist injury.
Wrist injury. Same wrist, I'm assuming, from a
Gotta be.
skiing accident or whatever it was. So that
Mhm.
was weird. But I mean, Aston Martin seemingly kind of getting a quicker car, seemingly figuring out more than they had in the past. I mean, we're looking at 14 points for Stroll, and then Alonso has a whopping 2 points, dude.
Yeah, it's just
First point scored.
first points finish this year.
Crazy,
Crazy. Hard to
man.
believe.
I know. Lawson has more points than him, which is kind of insane to think. But yeah, I mean, it's getting interesting now in the constructors because the bottom half, like the bottom three, which is a crazy bottom three. Last place is Alpine with 11, which obviously is being carried by Pierre Gasly. He's the only person that scored on that team.
Yep.
16 points with Aston Martin, as we talked about. Stroll with 14, Alonso with 2. Kick Sauber with 16 points. And I'm pretty
Out of
sure
nowhere.
all of them are Hulkenberg. Indeed, they are
Yeah.
all Hulkenberg. So, I mean, he's driving that thing. Haas, who we're pretty high on, is at 26. Both drivers have points. They're so hit or miss. Still
Yeah.
continue to be super hit or miss. And then Racing Bulls is at 28, so they're 2 points above. I mean, look, Isaac Hadjar is scoring pretty consistently. He's going to be scary, I think, going forward, but I just don't think Lawson's consistent enough. When Lawson scores, it's going to be almost like a freak incident where you're like, oh, wow, look, Lawson scored a point.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Hadjar is going to qualify Q3 a whole bunch, and he's going to be fighting for, I mean, heck, it seems like 7 to 10 is usually the range he's fighting for. And then the jump happens. So, basically, if one of those teams gets a fluke, top 5, it can shift the entire constructors. And then Williams is sitting at 54 points. And we had a horrible race.
Yeah.
It was a bad track. They even said it in like FP1. They're like, by the way, this track's gonna suck for us. Like, it's not built for us. We're not gonna do well. And we didn't do well. We got a DNF because of Lawson. Carlos didn't even make it out of Q1.
Q3.
No, it was Q1, I'm pretty
Q-
sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
finished like
didn't.
17th, which
17th?
sucked. Yeah. So not a good race. Besides that, we've been pretty fantastic. It's been fun to watch. Monaco was, of course, like the big train situation where we slowed down the whole pack. That's Monaco, man. That's going to happen. But the huge jump happens from 5th to 4th, where we now have a really tight 2-3-4 battle, which is going to be so fun. 144 points for Red Bull, 159 for Mercedes, and 165 for Ferrari. That's going to
Yep.
flip around a whole bunch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Especially, like, I mean, Ferrari made the jump this week because we picked up 11 on Mercedes, but they had one car in the points. We had 2. It's like, that's not going to be the only time that happens. The ebb and flow of 10, 12, 15 points is going to go like this the whole time. And then Red Bull's going to get in on that. The thing is where Red Bull's points are going to come from is really high finishes with Max, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because Yuki's already proven he's not really going to pull it all the way
Yeah,
through.
Yuki's
But
got 10 this season versus Max at 137.
right. So if Max gets a DNF, God forbid, and you have 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes in the points, they're going to have to play a little catch up.
I mean, dude, Max gets 10th place. I mean, Hamilton obviously had a tough race, but he's still finishing with eight points, and Leclerc's finishing with 15, and then Russell's
Yep.
finishing with 12. And then, as you said, if Kimmy's in there, it's over. But where do you think? Try to be as unbiased as possible. Who do you think has the advantage, Mercedes or Ferrari?
Mercedes, they're more consistent.
Okay. You just think the past 2 podiums basically has jetted them up, and then Kimmy being unlucky is right there with it.
Well, Kimmy being unlucky is my reason for saying that. Charles is on a heater right now.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, when you go with those like double and triple headers, if one of these guys is feeling it and they're feeling aggressive, that can go away when they get a break. Like, he may come out in Canada and be a little cautious.
Or they might throw an upgrade on the car that makes it worse, because that seems to be happening to you guys.
Yeah. Well, we had upgrades this week and it worked okay.
It did work.
So, I mean, I wasn't thinking we were going to win the race. I was thinking a podium would be possible until I saw qualifying and I was like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah, and then
it
the
worked.
safety car.
Safety car.
Yeah, and then I guess the final discussion is, I mean, McLaren's basically, in my opinion, will be walking away with the team constructors
Yeah, that's done.
362. I mean, they're almost 200 above second place, which is unbelievable. But
Yeah,
186 Oscar Piastri leads it, 176 Lando Norris. I still favor Oscar, obviously.
yeah.
I think most people would, unless you're a really big Lando fan. But I think, as we said, it's not getting boring yet because the field is such a mixed pack in the midfield. But even at that, Lando and Oscar, it's like, what the heck's going to happen here? Is still looming. I thought he was going to be pulled away by a large margin after this triple header, but he's not. 10-point
Mhm.
differential. So I don't know. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
It'll be again. I mean, the big swing with that could come with a DNF
True. If a DNF
because
happens,
the
that is
other
crazy.
car is going to get like at least a 15-point advantage because they're going to finish on the podium more than
Yeah.
likely.
I mean, is there any way somebody catch? I mean, with the DNF, heck, Max Verstappen could catch up. He's at
Yeah,
137,
sure,
which is
sure.
if he.
A DNF in a bad race, Max is right back in it.
I don't even want to say it, but if he can, you know, get up there and if he can get close to winning constructors, I won't be stoked. I want Oscar to win it so bad.
When drivers,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm with you.
I want to win it so bad.
I want somebody else to win it. The thing I was thinking about today at work, I was like, ooh, if Oscar wins or if Lando wins, are they gonna choose to wear that number one? Like Lewis never
I
did.
was
He
thinking the
always kept
exact same
44.
thing on Sunday.
I think Oscar wouldn't, Lando would.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be shocked. I feel like maybe Oscar would just because he's 81, so it's kind of in the number already.
Already there. Yeah, it's
So it
true.
doesn't look that weird, but I am with you. I don't know. I really don't know because I could see it going the other way too. Where like Max is the nonchalant guy too, where it's like I feel like he would be a guy I'd expect just to not go to number one just because it's like I don't really care. I just like being in the race car. But I don't know.
That's fair.
Maybe I'm wrong about that because he's a little bit of a power hungry guy. But
He's a crazy man.
I mean George Russell would definitely switch his number from
Oh
63.
yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking, so it kind of got me thinking too, because I was like, I was looking at the numbers as like, okay, who would switch to number, like out of those two, who would switch to number one? There's not really a bunch of like diabolically bad numbers, but 63 is a tough one to like go with. And I know it's like a family racing number. Like it's apparently it's his older brother. So he's like paying homage to him. But like, dude, it's a tough number just to be like, yeah, bro, 63 rules.
I think it's tough, dude.
I think it's cool because it's different. That's the only reason why I think it's cool. But it's such an ugly number if you just look at it straight up.
I think 81 is pretty bad. Like
Really?
Oscar in like I don't know, in like the 20s, that would be cool.
Like a 22.
Yeah, Yuki though.
Yeah, that's true. Whatever. 21, I guess. I can't believe like 23 goes to Albon. Like I thought that would be snatched up, but I guess nobody gives a rip about Michael Jordan. It's like I look at numbers like so football jaded though. That's my issue. So I look at all these and it's like football players now. This could be a whole different discussion that's not important. But dude, I get hyper fixated on numbers and I'm like what's cool and what's not cool. But all right, I have one last thing before you dip. Canadian Grand Prix in 2 weeks. I'm excited. Great track for Williams. The real question is the second driver for Alpine ever going to score a point? And are they actually going to revert back to doing if Colapinto doesn't figure it out? Or do they go to their one of their other 7 reserve drivers that they have?
I think they're going to start digging into that pool, and I think it's the dumbest thing they could do.
So dumb. Maybe give a guy a chance, right? And just let him figure it
Yeah.
out. I don't know.
Not
I
to
will.
mention that car is kind of a tractor.
It's so bad. Gasly's dragged it up pretty high a couple times, but that's it. Only twice. So we'll see. Canadian Grand Prix is one of my favorites. I'm really
Same.
looking forward to it. Albon seems to always do well. Last year, Albon was killing it in the worst Williams that we've had in years. And his actual teammate this year took him out of the race unintentionally.
Yeah, boy.
Hit the grass, spun out, and took him out. So I think I'm feeling very optimistic. I'm not giving my full prediction, but I think we're going to see another midfield teams creep up into the top 5, which would be awesome. I really want a midfield podium. We haven't had one yet this year. I want one so bad. Obviously,
McLaren's going to dominate. I'm with you there, but this track, the thing about like your slower turns, like they got that big hairpin. They kind of have it's a fast chicane in the middle, but you can grip and go.
But the final turn into the straight to finish the lap,
Yeah.
people bump that wall. So literally
That's
anything
the
can happen.
yeah.
So I mean, we've seen like Lando do a couple Singapore scaries when he was leading that race.
Oh yeah.
Like you never know. Like there could be a little scary situation. You get a little, a
Yeah.
little right into the wall, and then dude, you could just see a guy spin out. So we'll see. Also, people have hit that grass plenty of times. Was it Russell last year who did the huge crash in the grass? I think it was. It was because it was
that
wet.
last year?
I think it was last year because it was wet. It was super wet. So if anybody even nicked the grass, they'd spin. So that's
were
why
done,
Carlos
yeah.
spun. Russell went completely off and then just like blew up his car basically.
Oh yeah, and he was right in the middle of the road.
Yep, and he blocked a whole
red
thing.
flag, red flag, red flag, red flag.
So it could get interesting. It also tends to rain every once in a while, so we'll see.
It rains every year there, which sucks because it's a fast track.
But hey, it was dry last time, but it was just wet grass. So
yeah,
that made it interesting. We will see. I'm excited for it. We'll definitely give a full prediction out. And now we're back.
Yeah, back with the consistency.
Yes, sir. All right, Grant, any last words?
That's all I got.
Boom, bro. Why are you giving it everything, man?
I'm giving it everything, man.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.